This video is taken from late 2018 when Jordan and Mike Eason and I went on a ride out of Jawbone Canyon up in the Mojave Desert. Had a beautiful December day here. Jordan had ridden out for Christmas holidays with his 950 Adventure. He's in front of me there, and then Mike Eason is first one down the hill. We took off and went up into the mountains, and we're trying to get across this ridge and ended up going down into this spectacular trail, which turned out to be a real challenge. You'll see a little bit later. We'll come back up this hill. Our intention was to go through the canyon up in front, which we actually got through the first part. This hill would be my nemesis going back up as well later. But we did get down into the bottom of this initial canyon and made our way through and got back up. I was unable to get up. I went down right there where Mike just went down. I had trouble, and then this is Jordan riding my bike up the hill, demonstrating to me again that it's not the bike, it's the rider. I could not get up that hill, but he was able to take it up to a flat spot, and then I drove it up the rest of the way. So we ended up at the top of this beautiful ridge, and our intention was to go up and over, but we'd soon find out that we thought we'd had a lot of risk getting stuck in a slot canyon way down at the bottom of the next valley, which we'll see coming up here. So Mike and I stayed up top, and we ended up spending quite a bit of time up here. Jordan continued down the hill to the left a little bit. He ended up having to drive his bike back up that hill, which is quite steep, and then we had to backtrack. This is about as far as we got. Down to the left, way down in that valley where that green colored mountain is, was where we were considering going. Here's some still pictures. There's Mike standing as we were scouting out the routes out. Jordan took some glamour shots for his bike there, and here's him trying to climb the hill. He did manage to get back up. He went about a third of the way down this canyon, but turned around. So then we had to backtrack. This is again Jordan on my bike. I was unable to do this. This is pretty spectacular. His abilities far exceed mine. So got the bike up this very gnarly section of the hill, and I was able to get the rest of it. Mike also had difficulty. He dropped it here. He ended up able to ride out, but had this initial spill. I was just totally unable to get up this combination of the curve and the steepness and the loose gravel. So there's Mike ahead of me, and I was able to continue up this last section. So Jordan went around a different way. We'll see him coming up the valley here. This was also pretty steep, but that 950 is able to conquer it with no problem. Jordan spent a couple of weeks with us. We did a couple of rides this time of year and really enjoyed having him out. So after the little misadventure there on the long trail, we went back down this mountain. This is Jawbone Canyon to the left. Back down the mountain into the valley and did some sand washes and some hill climbing throughout the canyon area. Really pretty day here. Here's the California Aqueduct going up the ridge. That actually is a siphon that takes water all the way from the Sierras down into the Los Angeles Valley. Now we're back in the bottom. You can see it's very sandy, very loose, pretty fun on a dirt bike. This is one of the last videos I'll have with my old Hero 3 GoPro, very bumpy. Jordan and I both, there's Jordan blowing by me on the right. Much more horsepower and much more skill. So eventually we'll have some video of future trips with the new Hero 7 camera, much more stable. So I apologize for all the jerkiness here, making me busy. The camera's mounted on my chin of my helmet, so it has some body stabilization, but not quite enough. Mike's noting that as he came up that hill, a huge hawk flew up in front of him, and he he was telling me about that as we got back together at the top of that ridge. You can see the depth of the sand here. Probably several inches deep there, but really fun to slalom around these courses. You can see the Joshua trees here. They grow up in this region. And then we stopped for a snack, and then we did a hill climb on those ridges. Here's Jordan blasting up the hill. I don't have any video of that. He was just doing some practice, and we were getting some pictures. It's really the first time I had done any real hill climbing on the dirt bike, so that was a good education for me. Beautiful shot of Jordan jumping the little ramp he discovered there in the dirt. See the sun in my face here? This is pretty challenging. You really, as you come around the corner, it's just blinding, so you just have to trust your instincts and make out what you can of the trail and go for it. This is a little tricky coming off the plowed road over the berm that's been pushed up by the blade. You have to hit that not so much on an angle or it will knock the bike sideways. So just did a little back and forth on the way back to the truck here in the afternoon. You can see the main road on the left, and we were just back and forth in these trails. It's a lot more fun to be off in the technical stuff a little bit instead of just riding on the boring flat roads. So good for balance and just a lot of fun. We spent probably, I'd say, 4 or 5 hours with a bulk of it at that first hill. Here's an interesting shot. I missed the approach to this hill. I should have just gone off to the left and went up and caught the flank of the hill. I was in 3rd gear, had no power, and could not climb the hill, so I was in the wrong gear at the time. Here, once again, you can see the sun in my face. Guys are up in front of me, Mike, and then Jordan up there crossing the road. Since this ride, I've actually updated the springs in the dirt bike, so I should be able to have a little bit better suspension performance in some of these ruts. Jordan sprays me with gravel up ahead here in a second. That's what visors and sunglasses are for. That would be pretty nasty on a bare face. He was pretty kind throughout the day. That bike's capable of kicking that up at will. Although I wasn't right behind him very much because he's so much faster rider than I. Absolutely beautiful view. You can see the aqueduct here as we make our way back to the truck. Then Jordan did some practice runs for some pictures I was taking of him here. Some high-speed jumps and handling on the road right by the truck. One last shot of him here. That bike's absolutely amazing. So put the bikes back in the truck and had a fantastic day.